Today I'm going to attempt to make some hippie powder using my mixer, the metal spatula, as opposed to any kind of plastic spatula that could be dyed and stained, a $3 container of cornstarch, and just so this container has 993 grams, and at 70 gram bags, which is what we intend to make, that should make us 14 bags out of this one container right here. 14 bags at $1.50 each. You're looking at 20 something dollars. So for $3 and some dyes that we won't use all of, probably just one of these, to be honest with you, we're looking at like $5. We're saving 15 bucks or more to make this ourselves. Okay, let's add the water. We'll start with just a little bit. I added enough water. I actually made it a little too soupy. So I added another half cup of starch to it. And it's just now at the consistency it needs to be. It separates a little bit, as you can see. Watch what happens when I stop it. It almost looks like a solid liquid. So that's the consistency we want. We're going to use probably about this much color. Doesn't take a whole lot. It feels kind of solid. You're just kind of sticking it inside there. It should wipe it off. Alright, that was 2 knives full. I'll cover it up. So let's see what this looks like. Now we're done. I'm going to transfer it over to it. There's the consistency. It appears to be hard and solid, but it's still liquidy in some way. Oh, and I recommend using gloves. Okay, now we're going to pour this out. You're going to need a spatula onto this cookie sheet for it to dry. Okay, I've got it poured out on the cookie sheet. There's a little bit left in here. You just scrape it with this spatula. It'll come off. It's just, you can tell it's already drying. It dries really quick. I'm just going to probably just let it dry all afternoon. Okay, I've let this sit out for a couple of hours, and actually I decided to go ahead and just pop it in the oven on the lowest setting, which for my oven is like 170, maybe 175, and just put it in there for 10 minutes. And this is a good cookie sheet because it's big. It's one of my bigger ones, and so it was able to be real shallow and thin, and it looks like it did a great job at really drying it out. And what I'm going to do here now is just kind of scrape it and fluff it up a little bit so that the under part of it that's closest to the cookie sheet, you see it looks darker. I'm going to fluff it up so that it can dry out completely. Now the other two are in smaller pans. The green one here and the blue one here, of course, is even thicker. So, which that was also the last one I made. So those need to dry out some more. But putting it in the oven for a short period of time definitely helps it, and I believe I'll just continue to do that until it's all dried out for the green and the blue. And the yellow one I think I'll just leave out and let it air dry out now overnight. Here are the 3 colors out of the oven. Like I said, I just kept them in there for about 10 or 15 minutes or so. The blue and the green, I had put some wax paper underneath it, thinking that might just be easier to get out of the pan. I don't recommend it. It stuck to it really bad, and it actually comes off the pan fine without it. So just a note, I wouldn't line it. After all the powder has dried, which has taken a full day actually, I put it in the oven for a little while, let it air dry for a little while. Putting it in the oven for about 5 more minutes on 170 definitely helped. Now what I've done is I've moved the powder into, I've tried a blender and various other things. So what I'm using right now is a coffee grinder. I found it to be the best as far as getting it down to the powder consistency that it needs. So what we're going to do is grind this. And then it's going to turn into, you'll see some of the little beads at the top. What you want to do is use a flour sifter and pour it into the flour sifter. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of sift it, and I've already kind of sifted most of this. I'm actually finishing up here. But the bigger pieces that would not go through the sifter, you discard. They're too like rocks and pebbles, and you don't want to use that. What you want is a consistency that when you rub it between your fingers, you can hear that sound of cornstarch. We wanted to get it back to the cornstarch consistency. Okay? After you're finished, press all the air out, seal the bag, and when you press it, you should hear that. That sound is a good indication that your powder has dried back to the cornstarch powder that it belongs to. That's what we want.